So what's up people and welcome to the chapter 65 discussion of Kaiju number 8 or Kaiju 8号. So chapter 65 came out a couple of days ago, and as always I will leave a link to this chapter that's currently being shown on the publisher's official website, Manga Plus, for free to the North American audience. So if you're interested, go take a look at it before they pull this chapter back. Well, chapter 65. It was a joy to read it because we are finally back to seeing Kafka again. And man, I really enjoyed the cover that came out with this chapter, where they show both young Kafka and young Mina preparing for the future. And it really is a nice chapter to bring everything back to the main character once again. And the chapter starts off with the news that comes from the previous chapter. People in the JDF are now starting to realize that Leno has successfully fused with Monster Number 6's powers in the battlesuit, and this has become the topic of the day. And of course this eventually gets to Kafka as well, and Kafka being Kafka starts worrying immediately and saying this may be too dangerous for Leno, and Kikoru rightfully kicks Kafka in the butt and tells him that he should have more faith in all of the other members of the JDF. And this of course turns into a self-reflection sort of situation because Kafka is starting to understand that all of the other members are starting to move forward and they are developing in their own manner. And this of course brings everything back to his dilemma in that he is no longer able to change to Monster Number 8 without having that transformation slowly take over his body. And yet the big dilemma is, of course, without Monster Number 8's powers, Kafka becomes the weakest member of the JDF. He is not really strong enough without the powers to be able to protect anybody. And since this is Kafka that we're talking about, the inability to be able to protect people becomes his point of depression. But luckily, it's at this time that he meets Vice Commander Hoshina, and after some very interesting discussions that they have, Vice Commander Hoshina advises him that he should not transform into Monster Number 8 considering the dangers that can be associated with that. He did not want Kafka to lose control of those powers and become a monster. But of course, this is Kafka that we're talking about, and true to his character, he says that since he is so powerless as a standard JDF member, the only way he can actually help people is to change into Monster Number 8. And so, despite the dangers to himself, he will continue to do so if and when it's absolutely necessary. And of course, this then opens the avenue for the next part of the story because Vice Commander Hoshina realizes that much of the issue is because Kafka cannot utilize his battlesuit effectively when he is not Monster Number 8. And the chapter ends with Vice Commander Hoshina telling Kafka that he will train him to become a more powerful soldier. And so we could already see an avenue going forward with regards to both Kafka as well as Vice Commander Hoshina. Somewhere along the way, we are going to probably find out about his deal that he made with Monster Number 10. Whether it'll come out during this training with Kafka is hard to tell, but it is interesting to see both characters who were destined to develop move along together. Now, the one question that many of the readers had is the fact that, of course, Kafka was kind of placed with Commander Narumi, and it was Commander Isao Shinomiya's last request that those two work together to become the new hope for the JDF. And so if Kafka is training with Hoshina, what is it going to do with his relationship with Narumi? And considering that, of course, Hoshina and Narumi don't particularly get along too well together, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But it does show that probably the next few chapters beyond this point will be about Kafka training, and it is nice to see the actual main character be the focus of the story after a long hiatus. So anyway, that is the chapter 65 discussion for Monster Number 8. For any of you who have read it, What do you think about this new direction the author is going and how this training session may move forward? Thank you very much in advance for any comments. And until the next episode, happy manga reading. And as always, Jaya, nice day, everyone.